You got people that are resentful towards her. But it's really not about her, guys. It's about what she represents.
To be clear, Caitlin Clark is being fouled at a record rate. Some of them are brutal fouls, and a lot of the refs are looking the other way.
Fortunately, it's creating a textbook hostile work environment for Caitlin Clark. And under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, the federal government does have an ability to engage here.
Caitlin Clark just dropped the biggest update of the WNBA season, and it's not good. After months of brutal fouls, zero protection, and non-stop disrespect, she's officially out for the season. The league's most valuable player is walking away, not because she's weak, but because the WNBA treated her like she didn't matter.
But despite all that success that she's immediately had, the league has basically looked the other way as she's been targeted on a weekly basis.
Caitlin Clark exploded onto the scene. Indiana Fever signs her, and suddenly the WNBA knows what real media attention looks like. You had rookies before, but nothing like this. She wasn't just a player. She instantly became the league's golden goose. The face, the cash cow, whatever you want to call it. Clark was it.
Okay, because she's brilliant, right? That's why she's wreaking havoc, because she is so good.
And the numbers, they screamed it louder than the headlines. League app engagement up 613%. I mean, who even checks the WNBA app? Nobody. Until Clark showed up. Subscriptions, those jumped by 366%. People literally started paying to follow the league the moment she entered. Merchandise sales. That's a wild one. 601% increase. Everyone wanted Caitlin's jersey, her name, her number. And don't even get me started on what she did to the Indiana Fever. Their franchise value tripled. Let that sink in. Tripled from being practically invisible to becoming one of the most valuable teams because of one player, one rookie. Your attention about Caitlin Clark.
Your attention about Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark has had a seismic impact on the WNBA ever since she first joined. Merchandise sales.
And yet somehow this stirred up the biggest storm in the league. You'd think the WNBA...
Right after she was drafted and heading into her rookie year, A'ja Wilson, who is a three-time MVP of the league, she's won the championship for the Las Vegas Aces, she came out and addressed the attention that Caitlin Clark is getting.
Clark, mind you, didn't ask for this drama. She just played her game. But the second her face was plastered on every highlight reel, it was game over. The backlash hit hard. It wasn't subtle. Wasn't professional. And it sure as hell wasn't safe. And now she's stepping away. That's the bombshell. She's out for the season. Not because she's washed, not even close, but because she's been absolutely battered on the court and burned out off it.
It boils her blood when people try and say that it's not about race. And so, unfortunately, it seems like there's a lot of commentary that's being made by players when they're on camera and they know reporters are watching.
Let's talk numbers again, because if the drama felt personal, the stats made it undeniable. Caitlin Clark took 17% of all flagrant and hard fouls in the entire WNBA this season. Just stop for a second and think about how insane that is. One player, just one, taking nearly a fifth of all the worst hits in the league. And guess what? That number is more than double the next closest player. Double. That's not competition. That's targeting.
She is taking on harder fouls and at a higher rate than any of her peers. So it turns out that in her rookie season, she absorbed 17% of all flagrant fouls, or hard fouls.
These weren't love taps either. We're talking midair collisions, blindside shoulder checks, the kind of hits you'd see in a rugby match, not a basketball game. And while Clark was getting clobbered every other game, the referees apparently decided to go full spectator mode. Viral clips showed her getting fouled 3 to 4 times on a single possession and nothing. Crickets, refs just staring like they forgot their job description.
More than double the rate of any of her peers. This is not something that you would see occur to any other top star in any other league. And I think a lot of fans are scratching their heads of why the league is allowing this to continue.
And the best part, not a single player got suspended for it. Not one. Doesn't matter how blatant the foul was, how many slow-mo replays went viral, or how loud the crowd gasped. No action. The league just shrugged. You tell me how. That makes sense. One analyst even said it flat out. She's one flagrant away from a career-ending injury. And guess what? It finally happened. She is out for the season now.
There's a lot of jealousy and animosity, and that can be understood, right? If you've been an MVP of the league in the past, yet you were unable to achieve.
But here's where it gets spicy, because this mess, it isn't just about fouls. It's not just some gritty basketball beef. No, it got way deeper. A. Wilson didn't hold back when she said it. Race is a huge thing. It boils my blood when people say it's not. That's a 3-time MVP dropping the race card on live mic. No filters. And suddenly you realize Clark's not just catching bodies on court. She's carrying the weight of a cultural divide she never even asked to be part of.
Unable to achieve the visibility and perhaps the endorsements that Caitlin Clark has received right out of the gate, it shows that it's normal to assume that there would be some degree of resentment. However, the concern is that resentment is then leading to targeting on the court.
Veteran black players who've been grinding in the league for years without media love, endorsements, or national buzz are clearly annoyed that a white rookie rolled in and stole the spotlight. And look, I get the frustration, but when it turns into on-court retaliation, that's when we've got a whole different problem.
Because Ms. Clark's civil rights are being violated as she is targeted on the court, the basketball court, and no one's protecting her. Is that what you're saying?
Clark never said a word about race, never pointed fingers, never played victim. But the second she became the face of the league, the resentment kicked in and the foul count followed. She basically became the scapegoat for decades of ignored black talent. And while that debate is worth having, it sure as hell shouldn't be settled with elbows and cheap shots.
Make sure that does not happen. That is the weirdest thing in the world, but it is what it is, and I'm glad that Caitlin has a great head on her shoulders.
Even her own teammate, Sophie Cunningham, had to admit it. The star player of the league is not being protected. That says it all. Not opponents, not fans. Her own teammate called the league out. And when you're getting assaulted weekly and no one's doing anything about it, that's not a game anymore. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
It's basically done for the WNBA what Michael Jordan did for the NBA.
Legally speaking, this is textbook hostile work environment. Under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, you don't need anyone shouting slurs in your face to prove racial discrimination, unequal treatment, and a pattern of negligence. That's more than enough. And if this goes to court, the WNBA is going to have to explain how their most valuable asset was allowed to be hunted like that without so much as a warning call.
And the amount Caitlin Clark is being fouled compared to any of her peers in the league, or the treatment that she receives compared to any other top stars in any other leagues, there's no comparison to it.
And now, because of all this nonsense, we're here. Caitlin Clark, the only reason half the country even remembers the WNBA exists, is done for the season. She came in trying to play basketball, broke every rookie marketing record in the book, and ended up getting clobbered on the court and iced out politically. She's hurt, frustrated, and probably wondering why the hell she signed up for this league in the first place.
Instead of protecting its transformative star, the league's leadership ignores the relentless targeting of Miss Clark, treating its greatest asset as if she were a PR headache.
The Wall Street Journal didn't hold back. They straight up said it. The WNBA is sitting on a civil rights lawsuit just waiting to erupt. It's not even a whisper anymore. It's a legal time bomb ticking louder with every ignored foul and every shady non-call. And now the league's leadership is in the hot seat whether they like it or not.
Physicality has very obviously ratcheted down. It's been tame.
Let's be real. This isn't just a bad officiating issue anymore. We're talking about a pattern of behavior that screams discrimination from the rooftops. Remember Harris versus Forklift Systems from 1993? Yeah, that little case made it crystal clear that a hostile work environment doesn't need a physical punch in the face to count. You just need degrading, repeated behavior that makes someone feel like crap every time they clock in. Sound familiar?
Before she ever came along, there were a lot of outstanding basketball players who happened to be black females.
Now, toss in Texas Department of Community Affairs versus Burdine, 1981. That case basically flipped the burden onto the employer once you can prove unequal treatment, which Caitlin Clark's situation does on a silver platter. I mean, we've already established she's been taking double the flagrant fouls of everyone else in the league. That's not speculation. That's math. Cold, brutal math.
Maybe Caitlin Clark's civil rights are actually being violated. Is her right to a peaceful workplace, a non-hostile work environment, are those rights being violated?
And it gets worse. We've got unaddressed public comments. Yes, actual words caught on camera from players throwing around the race card. We've got Sophie Cunningham saying Clark's not being protected. We've got A.A. Wilson talking about how the whole situation boils her blood. That's not subtle. That's not harmless. That's evidence. And then comes the cherry on top. Leaked internal chatter suggesting referees were told to let them play even if it meant Clark got wrecked. Like what? You've got your most marketable star getting targeted and your solution is to just look away.
And so she's facing a hostile work environment. Unfortunately, it appears that it does impact a protected class, her race, as evidenced by quotes by players in the league. And there is a federal element here where the government can intervene, and we've already seen this.
Now the Department of Justice is sniffing around. So is the Labor Department. And even Congress is stepping into the mess. Workplace safety, discrimination laws, all in play. You know, it's serious when federal institutions are being mentioned in the same sentence as layups and fouls. But that's where we are. And yes, Senator Jim Banks has already sent a formal letter to Commissioner Kathy Engelbert demanding answers. Not asking politely, demanding. If that doesn't tell you the WNBA's PR team is in panic mode right now, I don't know what will. Because once lawmakers start sniffing around your league's policies, it's not just a public image problem anymore. It's legal, political, and financial all rolled into one headache.
Time race has really gotten to this level. Why do you think the referees don't protect her more?
I think that's a great question. And I think the one key that, the 17% of flagrant fouls that she receives versus others, that's just based on calls that have actually been, that the referees actually call.
But somehow, despite all this chaos, the media mostly stayed silent. Like, where are the think pieces? Where are the network specials? Caitlin Clark just got snubbed from the USA Olympic team. The same player who's single-handedly carrying league viewership on her back. She's literally the #1 ticket seller in the WNBA, and somehow she doesn't make the Olympic cut. Make it make sense.
But Caitlin Clark doesn't get to play under these circumstances, where these girls are just going out there and playing basketball.
And the fallout was immediate. The All-Star game, which should have been a victory lap for the league, saw ratings nosedive by 55%. 55. That's not a coincidence. That's what happens when fans realize the one player they actually came to see isn't going to be there. You sideline Clark and apparently the entire fan base says, cool, we're out too.
Clark shattered fan vote records with 1.29 million All-Star votes, yet ranked only 9th among guards on the player ballot.
Even owners joined the downplay Clark. Sheila Johnson, owner of the Mystics, casually suggested other players deserve the spotlight more. Like, thanks for the vote of confidence. You'd think an owner who benefits from league-wide growth would protect the player responsible for that growth. But no, we're playing politics instead. And it's not just the media blackout or the Olympic snub. It's the emotional toll. Caitlin Clark herself came out and said it. They get away with things they wouldn't do to others. That's from her, not a fan blog, not a teammate. That's from the person living it. The one getting elbowed in the ribs and slammed in midair while everyone watches like it's a WWE match. If this shocked you too, hit subscribe. We're not done exposing the mess behind the